war that's going on in Europe between Ukraine and Russia, and it's been going on for a couple of years now. And then there's a war going on in the Middle East between Iran and Israel. Now, there's people that are echelons and these corporations, they make a lot of money through these wars, through these conflicts. Yeah, and sometimes they fund both sides with weapons, with military intelligence and all the rest of it. There's people that's making money out of this war, and the poor people who don't want to see this conflict, who don't want to see war, they're the ones who are getting bombed, yeah, who are getting killed and maimed, whilst the upper echelons are making a whole heap of money out of this. They also make a lot of money through land. They also make a lot of money through religion. All these things tie hand in hand. When you go into the news, you see nothing but bad news. Again, this is another way they make money, is through the news channels and through social media. Now, when you go into the news, 90% of the news you watch is nothing but negative news. When was the last time you ever seen anything positive on the news? When was the last time you seen anything positive? Now, when you're watching the news, how does that make you feel? Do you feel anxious? Do you feel afraid? Do you feel, I don't know, fear? What do you feel when you're watching the news and seeing all of these conflicts going on? You see, the other thing that they use is words, and they know that words are very, very powerful. Yeah, they got their psychologists, and these psychologists will know what words to use in order to stir people's emotions. You often hear words such as friendly fire. Friendly fire? Listen, if there's a conflict in the street between two different gangs, I'm talking about homeboys, like, if there's a conflict between the two of them, you ever heard them say, oh, there was friendly fire? There's friendly fire? Where did these words come from? I've never ever seen in my life, yeah, a conflict between two gangs and one gang says, oh, we're having friendly fire or friendly exchange. These are words that's been made up by the mass media. Economic downturn. What is that? Economic downturn. Slums in house prices. National debt recovery. Wars of mass destruction, or wars of mass destruction. Is a mass destruction, really, right? The weather forecast is bleak. Hostile retaliation. Peace deals. Peace agreements. The conflict escalates. Open fire on civilians. Hostile tensions. Hostile tensions. Fear the war will escalate. Fear the war will escalate. You see, they use all these words and all these terms, and it conjures up a certain emotion in us. And they use the psychologists and the psychiatrists, yeah? Just like how they do on the TV adverts, to create things on TV through the adverts, right? You go and buy products, but you don't realize like that there's a lot of psychology beyond and a lot of science beyond these things that they're selling on TV, and they use their psychologists and psychiatrists, yeah, in these adverts, just like how they do with wars. Now check this out. This is an emotional frequency chart. An emotional frequency chart. And our emotions, and we have many of them, and they have different frequencies. They carry out different frequencies. Fear is a very low vibrational frequency, and that's a frequency we try and keep us on. Look at this, right? Frequencies are measured by hertz. It's measured by hertz. And on the bottom here you have shame. I'm not going to go through all of these. Shame, it carries a 20 hertz frequency. Hertz are measured in waves by peak to peak. Hertz are measured in waves by peak to peak. Yeah, it's a frequency. So shame carries a 20 hertz frequency. Guilt carries a 30 hertz frequency. You got to fear, and that carries a 100 hertz frequency. When you're in fear, it makes you do nothing. It makes you do nothing. Okay? It makes you feel emotionally constipated. It keeps you in your place. Stops you from doing things. We have courage at 200 hertz. Then as we go up the scale, you got love, which carries a 500 hertz frequency. You got peace, 600 hertz frequency. And at the top, which is where we should be trying to head towards, okay, we have enlightenment, which is 700 to 1000 hertz frequency. The government, they know through the scientists and studying people that we carry different emotional vibrations, okay? And they try to keep us down on the lower frequency. To try and keep us down on lower frequency. People out there, man, they are fed up of seeing these conflicts and these wars. And I feel sorry for both sides in these conflicts. But the upper echelon, they know exactly what they're doing. And believe you me, they always have their foot involved, yeah, in all of these things that's going on. Because through their banks, they make a whole heap of money. They know when these conflicts and wars are going on. And you can see the economy, right? The price of goods going up and down. Anyway, look at this. There's something called, there's a quote by Dr. Martin Luther King. And this is a very powerful quote. So listen to this. Returning hate for hate multiplies hate, adding deeper darkness to a night already devoid of stars. Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can. People, we have got to be the change that we want to see in the world. I keep saying it, and I'm going to say it again. We have got to be the change that we want to see in the world. Stop leaving it up to your politicians. Stop leaving it up to your church leaders. Stop leaving it up to your MPs. Okay? We have got to be the change that we want to see in the world. If we can change, right, and people can see that in us, then hopefully it'll have a cascading effect and it will knock on to them and they will change too. So long as we keep using our prime ministers and our MPs and those other people that we put our faith in to try and change things for us, things will never change. You see, governments come in every 4 to 5 years in the UK, and then another government comes in, and then another government comes in, okay? And things change very, very slowly. And half the time as well, the things that we want changed, they do not come into fruition. And it appears like that the MPs and these lords, they have their own laws, they have their own rules, they have their own agenda. Most of the laws that are made, and they say that these laws are being made for us, for the benefit of us, half the time we don't even know about these laws, these surveillance laws that's going on, these terrorism laws that's going on, okay? These cameras that's being put up everywhere, surveillance cameras. How many people voted for half of these things that have been put through the Houses of Parliament and through Lords? How many of us actually voted on these laws? You see, we're supposed to live in a democracy, and if we live in a democracy, then the MPs are supposed to be there, and they're supposed to be there to represent us and our opinions and our views, right? Because that's what democracy means, right? It's governed by the people, for the people. But look how many laws are coming in now that's taking away people's privileges, taking away the right to free speech. And people every day are on the streets protesting. You got doctors and nurses protesting about their pay. You've got railway workers coming on the streets protesting. You got farmers on the streets protesting about how their industry is slowly being eradicated, eroded. Yeah? You got school teachers doing the same thing. Now, if the policies and procedures and the things that they've been voting on, if they were coming into fruition, would these people be on the streets protesting? Yeah? All this stuff about immigration as well. Let me read something else. This is by Bob Marley. Alright? There's a song and it's called So Much Trouble in the World. Bless my eyes this morning. Jah, sun is on the rise once again. The way earthly things are going, anything can happen. You see men sailing on their ego trips, blast off on their spaceships, billion miles from reality. No care for you, no care for me. So true. Right now we got Donald Trump and he's in Scotland. Okay? He's left America and he's come to Scotland. This is a private thing, right? He's come to Scotland to play golf. Okay? I think there's something else as to why he's come over to Scotland and he's supposed to be there for 3 or 4 days. I think it's actually 5 days. He's in Scotland and people there in Scotland have been protesting. Yeah? I think it's Aberdeen and Edinburgh. They don't want him in Scotland. They don't want him in Scotland. You got people like Elon Musk. Look at the things that he's building at the moment. And the SpaceX. These people, right? They're detached from ordinary citizens. They're detached from ordinary citizens. Yeah? There's a great divide. And this society is going to split even more. Because you got some people who are following like just like sheep. And you got some people who are starting to wake up and see the bullshit that's going on in the world. Right? And you got family members, they're falling out with each other. And a lot of people fell out with each other over the BAP in 2020. Yeah? Office workers, people working together fell out over this thing. Nurses, doctors fell out over this thing, right? That people were being forced to take. Some took it willingly. Others, right, were coerced by their bosses, yeah, by their employers to take this thing. And many people are starting to fall out now. And there's a group of people also who said, no, I want to see just how far this thing goes because it's just a test. It's just a trial right now. I want to see just how far it goes before I decide to take it or give it to my kids. So now you've got a great split in society. There's some people who still believe that that's on the news, that people are saying in the mainstream narrative, and they need to wake up. Let me go on. There's another song here by Bob Marley, right? So you think you found the solution, but it's just another illusion. So before you check out this tide, don't leave another cornerstone standing there behind. Yeah? Don't leave another cornerstone standing there behind. Stop looking for other people to try and change things for you. You really need to try and change things for yourself. Get amongst like-minded people. Right? You know that they brought out an act, the Terrorism Act of 2000. I think came into fruition in 2001. Okay? And now there's another section to this act. And if people go out and they protest peacefully, they can still be arrested. Yeah? they could get up to 14 years imprisonment. Okay? Just for silent protest. That's what I'm talking about. They're taking away our liberties, right? They're taking away our freedoms from us gradually. We're becoming an Orwellian state. How are you going to change things? You're going to keep leaving that to your politicians? You're going to keep leaving that to your church reverends? You're going to keep leaving that to your popes? Do you think that they're going to really change anything for you? You have got to be the change that you want to see in the world. It starts with you first. When you change, hopefully other people will see the change in you and will change themselves. As Michael Jackson said, you got to be the man in the mirror. Just look at yourself in the mirror. That change, that has to come from you. Look at the man in the mirror. Look at that person in the mirror. Let me read out a little bit about this Terrorism Act. Man, they're taking away our freedoms. Listen to this. No one can be trusted with power. Any government will oppress its people if not constantly and intentively challenged. And the task becomes ever more urgent as new technologies of surveillance and control are developed. Okay, now this was by an article by the name of, the article was entitled Protest While You Still Can by George Monbiot. George Monbiot, I think I pronounced the name correctly, and that was in The Guardian. I'm reading snippets of this article by George Monbiot. Also, the Terrorism Act, right? This is all under the Terrorism Act of 2000. Listen to this. It's probably the most illiberal thing any secretary has done in 30 years. If Palestine's actions legal challenge to the order fails, you could receive 14 years in jail as a terrorist merely for expressing support, support over what's going on in Palestine. Yeah, you come out, you start protesting. You're not smashing up anything, mind. You're not setting fire to vehicles. You're not fighting with the police or anything at all like that, spraying buildings. But you come out in silent protests, yeah, and you start supporting the Palestinian conflict. You could be arrested and you could get to 14 years imprisonment for silent protesting. Who's beyond all of this? Who's beyond all of this? I'm talking not about the war in itself. I'm talking about the actual concept, right? I'm talking about the actual concept of this thing, right? About people being able to express their concerns and have free speech. If that's taken away from us, then what kind of world are we actually living in? People want to go out and silently protest about something that they disagree with. Soon, them nurses and doctors, soon them railway strikers, soon them school teachers, right? If they go out and start protesting, another act, maybe under this Terrorism Act or maybe another act will come out and tell them that they cannot go out and protest. If there's more than 30 people out protesting at one time, right? There's a gathering of more than 30 people. You could be possibly arrested, go to jail for this, yeah? And fined also. Where is the freedom of speech? Where is it? Because we seem to be losing that. And these people who go and vote for these MPs and these, for the MPs and the prime ministers, let me ask you this. Are they doing what you ask them to do? Or are they doing what they feel to do? Or is there a hidden hand, maybe by the elite, and it's them that's controlling things, telling the MPs what to do, right? And they're forgetting about the citizens. You got groups such as WEF and the UN. They're not elected bodies. You got other groups as well of very rich elite people. Are they the ones that are telling these governments what to do and not listening to the voice of the people? Let me read on. In 2001, as the act came into force, I warned that it could be used to ban non-violent protest groups and imprison those who support them. Supporters of Tony Blair. Government told me I was talking rubbish. Its purpose was to keep us safe from people who wanted to kill and maim us. At the time, Cooper was a junior minister. I think this is Yvette Cooper we're talking about. She must have known what the act could do. Right? And again, that's by George Mobetz in The Guardian. Let me read on. This is all important, people. Scarcely noticed by either legislators or the public. It has greatly increased the police powers to stifle protests. See what I'm saying? The ordinary citizens, they don't know really about these laws when they're being passed. As it says here, scarcely noticed by either legislators or the public. It greatly increases police powers to stifle protests. So what are you voting for then? How come you don't know anything about these laws when they're being passed? They say you could go online and look at some of these policies. You could go to some meetings and conference groups. But how many people know about these things? Really? Most people as well, they're working. So where would they find the time for all this? They got families, yeah? They got homes to look after. When would they find the time for these meetings? Why aren't these things being made more public? Right, in part, the police will be able to ban demonstrations close to a place of worship. Close to a place of worship. Man. That they will decide. Let me read that again. The police will be able to ban demonstrations close to a place of worship that they decide could be intimidating to worshippers. As almost every urban area contains a place of worship, blah, 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 police, using their own discretion to shut down any expression of dissent. So the police have the powers under this Terrorism Act to shut down any places of worship if they feel that there's going to be some kind of dissent there. They can use their own powers, okay? We're losing our freedom every day. Losing our freedom every day. Sometimes people, you just got to read between the lines as well. Let me carry on. But as states develop ever more sophisticated weapons, their powers could no longer be matched by these they sought to crush. In combination with facial recognition technology now being widely deployed in the UK, blah, 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 autonomous weapons systems for both military and civil use would greatly increase the distance between the state and citizen power. This is a future we appear to be rushing towards, with scarcely any democratic debate. With scarcely any democratic debate. And I'll say that one more time for those who are still sleeping. With scarcely any democratic debate, we are losing our powers. You see, we are sovereign beings, and we try to leave things to other people for them to try and sort things out for us. You need to get into community groups and get together with like-minded people if you want to change anything. Let me just read this last section here. The police will be able to ban demonstrations. I've just read that bit. Close to worship, places of worship. Oh man. I keep putting out these videos, and you know what? This platform don't really want stuff like that out there. Don't mind you putting out videos to do with sex, gratuitous violence, yeah, some nonsense videos, because that distracts people's minds away from what is really going on. They try to appease you through entertainment. As poet Juvenal, an ancient Roman poet, said, give the people bread and circuses. Okay? Appease the people by giving them bread and circuses. If you give them bread and circuses, they will not be aware of what is going on over there. Okay? You keep them entertained, the people. Okay? You keep them dumbed down by nonsense. Let me go back to this quickly. This emotional chart. As I was saying before, okay? You got these different emotional frequencies, and the government knows about these things. Okay? They got their scientists out there. They got their psychologists and the psychologists out there. The words that you hear in the news, they use certain words, certain key words, and they know how that's going to affect your emotion. Shame carries a 20 hertz frequency. Okay? Guilt carries a 30 hertz frequency. Fear carries a 100 hertz frequency. Carries a 100 hertz frequency. Go up the top here. Love carries a 500 hertz frequency. Love v fear. Love versus fear. If you have love for yourself and love for mankind, you would try and dissolve fear. But a lot of people, they are on this, kept down on this lower frequency through fear, when you should be trying to raise up your vibration and come up here to love. Enlightenment carries a 700 to 1,000 hertz frequency. And just below it is peace, which carries a 600 hertz frequency. Let me show you the chart. You see? You see? You see? They want to keep us down on a lower vibration. I'm going to read out this by UB40. Just to finish off this video, listen to this. UB40. Mankind must put an end to war, or war will end mankind. And justice you are fighting for, and who's the mastermind? Question why we're doing here. How long will we sustain? The guilt that feeds upon all fear. It's easy to be bold and brave from 1,000 miles away. It's easy to pontificate, to live and fight another day. But the quickest way to end all wars is to drop your guns and walk away. Is to drop your guns and walk away. The quickest way to end all wars is to drop your guns and walk away. And walk away, people. That has to come from in here, from us. We have to turn ourselves inside out. I can't see these conflicts and these wars ending. I can't see the way that things are going. If we leave it up to our MPs, our posts, our church reverends to try and change things for us, it will just stay the same. We have to look at ourselves and turn inwards. We have to be the peace that we want to see in the world. That peace carries a 600 hertz frequency. We have to stop being scared and try and lift up our emotion and our vibration and raise it to our higher self. And those people who do not want to change, well, it's best for you to just step away from them. Get together with like-minded people, right? Raise your frequency, raise your vibration, raise up yourself up to that 600 hertz frequency. Love is going to be the thing at the end of the day that's going to help to change humanity. If we stay in that lower frequency, that fear base, that anger, that hatred, things will never change. I'll leave this last quote. Mahatma Gandhi said, "There is no path to peace. Peace is the path. There is no path to peace. Peace is the path." If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. This is Eldad Amara with another video.